So I've been doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu for around 3 months now, and obviously I'm still a white belt. So in this video, I really want to talk about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and what experience I've gained, what I think about the sport, and if you are not very knowledgeable about the sport, then give you some insight about how it works, what you can expect for your first class, and just the type of training that it is. So let me get straight into it. And to recap, I've done it for 3 months now, and mainly I've done no gi training. So a gi is basically a kimono that you put on and you tie a belt around it. This is a traditional way of training. Now, I enjoy no gi training. What that is you have a rash guard, so it's basically a really tight t-shirt and a pair of shorts. Basically, I enjoy this type of training more because I feel more free. I feel more loose in that type of clothing. So for some reason, I just enjoy it more. How did I find the actual sport? How did I find out about jiu-jitsu? Well, I think I watched one too many Joe Rogan podcasts, and I figured out that jiu-jitsu would be the right sport for me because of how he described it, of how he laid it out on his podcast and said that it's really beneficial for your mental health, it's good for your physical endurance, physical strength. And I thought I'd give it a go. There was a gym that was maybe 10 kilometers away from my house, and I googled the place, I rang up the guy, and I booked myself in for my first class. Now, I think it was the next day that I actually went to the class. I'm not gonna lie, the thought about going to my first class was really daunting. I was quite nervous, didn't really know what to expect, so knowing me, I went on YouTube and I wrote down first jiu-jitsu class. And I watched a couple of videos just on what you can expect. Then I binged a couple more videos of techniques and some kind of chokes, and just looked at a couple of videos and trying to gain some insight on what the sport is, so I don't look like a complete noob when I come in. Now, when I came in, I was greeted with a very welcoming collective, with a very welcoming group. So what you find out about jiu-jitsu very quickly is that the people in the classes are very, very friendly. They are very welcoming, and they're not really, as you would say, intimidating. So a couple of people, obviously, they'll be, more stoic. They won't be talking as much, but, they're more inclined to just mind their own business. But there will be quite a few people there that, really love to chat. And those people are, I don't know, I like those people a lot because I'm a person that likes to chat so much. So went down to my first class and had a nice welcome. I met the instructor, and believe it or not, my first class was a gi class, so I had to wear the kimono. I didn't even know how to tie my belt properly. I had to ask one of the people, and they gladly showed me. So went down to the class and we were learning chokes. I think rear naked chokes, that's when someone's from behind and is choking you. Now, it sounds aggressive, but it's jiu-jitsu. It is going to be a little bit of aggressive sport. You are going to be doing choke holds. You are going to be doing basically you're trying to break people, but you do something called tapping. So when it's too painful, you tap out, and as soon as you do that, the person lets go. So in that way it is safe. But some people are more rough than others. Some people are a little bit softer, and especially once you're a newbie and you're starting out with the sport, people will be quite soft on you. They won't be showing you every single move they can do and just going full force. They'll be having a little bit of mercy on you. So now, after 3 months of training, in total, so I have switched between two gyms because I have moved house and I had to join another gym. So this other gym is actually, in my opinion, quite a lot better because I just get on with the instructor a bit more. Every instructor is going to differ, obviously, and I think the the way they train you is actually a little bit better, because there are a couple of trainers. There's not just one. In the other gym, the first one that I started off with, there's only one trainer. In this gym, there's maybe 4 or 5 different trainers. But yeah, again, they all have their own things. They all have their own approach to jiu-jitsu, and I have my favorite trainers, obviously. And just because I enjoy a certain style of jiu-jitsu, that's very normal. That's basically what you can expect for your first class. You can expect people to be welcoming. You can expect to be nervous, obviously, because it's just normal. Doing anything for your first time is really nerve-wracking. But when I say this, trust me, you are so much better off going to your first class than not going to your first class, because there's nothing really to lose. There's not going to be embarrassment, because obviously, just face it, anything that you do for your first time, you're not going to be good at it. Now, you may be physically strong and you believe that you'll be able to beat everyone in the class. You know, let's say you go to the gym and you're jacked, you have a six-pack, you bench 2 plates, and you think you'll be able to like beat every single person in that gym. Let me tell you something. You'll be pleasantly humbled if you believe that. There's a high chance that you will be submitted. A submission is when they make you tap. You'll be submitted by like a 16-year-old, or even worse, a girl. A girl might submit you, get you in a chokehold, because she's really fast. She'll go around you and take your neck and just choke you out. And it's going to be so quick you won't even notice what happened. And it's completely normal. That's what happened to me in my first weeks. I was rolling. That's basically when you're trying to submit each other. It's called rolling. As far as I remember, I was choked out by the same girl at least 4 times in a row. It was humbling, because I went to the gym for like 6 years before that. Now, don't let that put you off, because it makes no difference if you went to the gym before, you haven't went to the gym. Same thing, you're going to be humbled, because there's people that are so much better than you are. So now that I'm 3 months in and I've switched between 2 gyms, I am still a white belt, obviously, because it takes at least 2 years. Yeah, around 1.5, 2 years to get your first belt, which is the blue belt. And once you're a blue belt, you do have quite a bit of experience in the sport. Some people remain white belts for like 3-4 years, just because they don't go to training that often. They go like maybe twice, maybe once a week. And let me be honest, you're not going to achieve such progress like the person that's going like 5 times a week or even more. Some people are mad into jiu-jitsu and they go like 10 times a week. They like do 2 classes a day and they go every single day. And you are going to meet these kind of people. And just my own experience, I go to around 4, 5, 6 classes every single week, averaging out on 5 classes. And let's say that's just my preference. So 3 months into jiu-jitsu now as a white belt, I have gotten better. Let's say I know maybe 15 submissions. I don't know them perfectly, but I do know them. I do know how to perform these submissions. Now, it is really difficult to perform them when someone's experienced, because they're not going to let you submit them, obviously. But I do have that under my belt, so I can apply it if the situation is right. So how jiu-jitsu works is, you basically, when you go to your first class, you're going to warm up for around 15 minutes. You're going to warm up by doing some circles with your hands. You'll do some circles with back. You'll warm up your shoulder joints. You're going to warm up your knees, your ankles. You're going to warm up your wrists. You're going to warm up your neck, because that's the part that kind of gets damaged quite quickly, because people are trying to choke you. You're going to warm up your neck. You'll do some laps around the gym, not outside the gym, inside. And then you're going to go into a little bit of a technique drilling. So what technique drilling is, that's the trainer picks one technique and he's going to discuss this technique for maybe 15 minutes. He's going to show you the technique performed on another person. So he's going to pick a volunteer from the class or someone that's more experienced, and you're going to perform the technique maybe 5 times on them. So every single time that you do it, you have to be quite attentive and pay attention to exactly what you're doing. So basically your job is going to be replicate the technique that your instructor showed you. So you're going to pick a partner and everyone partners up. You most of the time pick someone in your own weight category. So let's say you weigh 70 kilos. You pick someone that's kind of the same weight as you, maybe 65, maybe 75, but usually you don't go with someone that weighs 100. It's quite difficult to go against someone that weighs so much. So now it's time for you to replicate the technique. Now it's completely normal to not know anything that you're doing. A lot of people are lost on their first few weeks. They look at the technique and they're like, oh my god, you're just so anxious about the class. You're still thinking about people like not liking you or something like that. You're anxious. You don't even pay attention to the technique that they're showing you. That's completely normal. I wish that's something that that someone told me that before my first class, because I was looking at the technique. I wasn't even looking. I was trying, but I was just so anxious that I couldn't focus. And that's completely normal. Everyone goes through the same thing. But as you go to the training, as a few weeks go by, you're going to be so much more tuned into the techniques that are shown to you, and you'll be able to apply them then and actually, drill them with your partner. So now that you're done drilling and you perform the technique for maybe around 20 minutes, you're going to drill around for 20 minutes. Now it comes to the fun part. Most gyms will have rolling. And what rolling is basically you pick a partner, or maybe you all stand in line, and 3 people come out and stand or sit on the mats. And as the line goes by, you go to the first person on your right and basically you roll. So the goal of this rolling is you're basically fighting. You're basically trying to submit one another. So you can use any submission, any technique. You don't have to use the same technique that was shown in the class, but it is a good idea of trying to do that technique because you're going to remember it better. Now, one more tip of remembering things better: when you get home after your first session, or it doesn't matter, you're doing jiu-jitsu for 2 weeks now, write things down. Come back home and write every single thing step by step down. If you don't have a notebook, just grab your phone and just open up the notepad and write down every single step that you've done. And this is a really good way of remembering the techniques so you can actually use them next time. So you're rolling and you're trying to submit someone for your first time. You may be using too much strength. That can kind of go against you, but it can kind of help you as well. If you're heavier than someone is, you're going to find it quite a bit easier to roll with them because you have that strength advantage. So in a way, I'm quite light. I only weigh 65 kilos. So pretty much every single time when I roll with someone, they're heavier than me. Let's say they weigh like 75, 80 kilos. So I'm put up with quite a challenge every single time, and I get humbled so much because, let's face it, I have a few chances against someone that's 80 kilograms, like 15 kilograms heavier than me, but most of the times they do tap me out. So pretty much that's my jiu-jitsu experience. I only went for 3 months, so I don't have that much to say. Obviously I can expand on some other things, so if you have any questions, just comment down below. I'll be happy to answer you. And one more thing I want to mention is, when you do your first few classes in jiu-jitsu, you kind of make up your mind whether the sport is for you or is it not for you. In my opinion, when I did it for the first time, I enjoyed it that much that I thought that, oh my god, I'm going to do this sport for the rest of my life, because you just bond with people so well. You make friends, you break a lot of barriers, because let's face it, you're both sweaty. You're really, really sweaty, like sweat's dripping off you, and you have to be so close to each other because you're literally, you're on the floor both sweaty, and you're literally, I don't know how to put it, but it's kind of intimate, it feels kind of intimate. So you do break a lot of barriers. You do gain so much confidence from jiu-jitsu. Not only confidence that you can now defend yourself, but confidence as in speaking to people, building connections. And this all leads to such self-development, because now you can build connections, now you can speak to people better. That's such a good skill to have. You're not only going to be more skillful in jiu-jitsu and more strong, but you're going to be more skillful in talking to people and actually building these strong connections to help you in your business, to help you just with any challenge that comes your way. This is the big part of jiu-jitsu that I really, really enjoy. One other thing I want to touch on is the technical part of jiu-jitsu. Now, memory plays a big part because you have to memorize these techniques, but it's strategy. So if you're a strategic person, or maybe you're not a strategic person and you want to become one, this is so good for you, because now you have to, like, when you're rolling, you have to think about all of these ways to get out of a situation. Like, you're basically given a problem, so the other person gives you a problem, he puts you in a certain position. Now it's your job to think about how to get out of that position. You really have to put your mind to work in these things, because it does take quite a bit of brain power just to figure out how I can get out of this situation. Let's say you've done 10 classes now and you remember your second class ever, and you're like, oh, I remember the instructor saying this, like to put my arm in this way and to, like, maybe, I don't know, cross my legs a certain way. And you're faced with the exact same problem and you apply the exact same thing as your instructor said, and you're just like, wow, like, it's progress right in front of your eyes. It just feels unbelievable when you actually put something that you've learned into practice. It's so nice. So that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say about jiu-jitsu in my first 3 months. Like I said, I'm going to be training in this sport for quite a while, and I can do updates like every single 3 months, just to I don't know, give my videos some variety, and give you some variety if you're interested in, you know, these kind of videos or sports, jiu-jitsu. Just comment down below and I'll be happy to answer your questions or make videos that you want me to make. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos, subscribe. And if you if you have any questions, just comment down below. I'll be happy to help and answer your questions. So yeah, that's it. Peace.